In this section, we're going to cover fractions using the addition principle. So in example 1, we have x minus 2/5, 2 over 5, equals to 3/4, or 3 over 4. So just like in the previous section, I'm going to cancel out the negative, or minus 2 over 5. The opposite of it will be plus, or positive 2 over 5. So since I'm adding 2 over 5 on the left side, got to balance the equation. Add 2 over 5 on the right side. So what I'm going to do is going to write it side by side, and here's why. X equal 3 over 4 plus 2 over 5. Now the reason I didn't combine right away is because in the first chapter I talk about when we're adding, subtracting, fraction, you can only do it if it's the same denominator. In this case, it is not same denominator, so that's why we wrote it side by side with the plus in the middle. And again, it's plus in the middle because that's why I wrote plus up here. Now, in order to get same denominator, I must change them by multiplying top and bottom, the numerator and denominator of each fraction. So, the common denominator between 4 and 5 is 20. So, in order to change this 4 into 20, I must multiply by 5 in the denominator, therefore by 5 in the numerator. In this fraction, I must change 5 into 20, so I must multiply by 4 in the denominator, therefore multiply by 4 in the numerator. When I do that, it's going to become x equal, this will be 15 over 20 plus 8 over 20. When I do that, same denominator, it basically means 15 plus 8 over 20, which will be 23 over 20. So it will be x equal 23 over 20. Now for this part, I will just ask you to leave it as an improper fraction. You don't have to worry about converting to a mixed number fraction, meaning having a whole number in front of it, or converting to a decimal. But if you were to convert into a decimal without a calculator, just simply do long division, which is shown in chapter 1. But most likely, I'm just going to ask you to leave it as an improper fraction. In example 2, we have negative 3/2, or 3 over 2, plus w equals 1 over 6, or 1/6. So, I want to get the w by itself. I'm going to isolate it. Must do the opposite of negative 3/2, so I'm adding 3/2 on the left, balance it, and do the same thing, add 3/2 on the right. So when I do that, w equal 1/6, that's the first one, plus 3 over 2. Alright, now in this example, common denominator, between 6 and 2, now some might say 12, because you would just multiply. You could do that, and you still get the same answer. Which you don't have to, and here's why. Because the 2 can become 6 by multiplying by 3 in the denominator. And if I do that, multiply by 3 in the numerator. So again, to make your work easier, you look at it, it's like, okay, 6 and 2 can become 12, but 2 can also become 6 by multiplying by 3. Let's work. So I don't have to do anything to this fraction. I'm just going to multiply the second fraction by 3 and get the same denominator. So when I do that, it will be w equal 1/6 plus, multiply this will be 9 over 6. And then since they have the same denominator, w equals 1 plus 9 over 6, which will equal to 10 over 6. I'm not going to stop there. Here's why. Because numerator and denominator are both even numbers. I can actually simplify by dividing by 2. So I'm going to divide top, numerator, by 2. Divide bottom, the denominator, by 2. When I do that, this will become 5 over 3. Nothing in common between 5 and 3. So my final answer is W equal 5 over 3. That will be our final answer. So when we have fraction, the one thing you gotta watch out is, can you simplify? Is there a common factor between numerator and denominator? In this example, 10 and 6 are both even numbers. They can be divided by 2. And we simplify as 5 over 3, or 5/3. Example 3, we have 4/9. 4 over 9 equals m minus 3/5. So, to balance the equation, first, to isolate m, I gotta cancel out the minus 3 over 5. So I'm gonna add 3 over 5 on the right. Therefore, to balance, add 3 over 5 on the left. So what's it going to look like is 4 over 9 plus 3 over 5, which will equal to m. So just like before, different denominators. The common denominator between 9 and 5 is 45. So I'm going to multiply this fraction by 5. And I'm going to multiply this fraction by 9 in order to get a common denominator of 45. So this will become 20 over 45 plus 27 over 45, which will equal to m. Now since they're the same denominator, meaning 20 plus 27 over 45, when that happens, just add the number on the top, so it will become 47 over 45, which will equal to m. And then I'm just going to put my variable on the left side now. I'm just going to flip it. M equals 47 over 45. This one, the numerator is greater than the denominator, so you can just leave it as an improper fraction. No big deal. If it's asked you to convert into decimal or convert into a mixed number, then yeah, continue working. But if I don't ask for it, just leave it as an improper fraction. Example 4, we have 2 over 11 equal negative 4 over 7 plus s. I want to isolate s by itself, so I'm going to cancel out this negative 4 over 7. So the opposite is plus 4 over 7. Balance the equation. Since I added on the right side, I'm going to add on the left side 4 over 7. When I do that, it will be 2 over 11 plus 4 over 7 equal to s. Same thing as before, we have different denominator. In order to get common denominator, 11 and 7, the common denominator would be 77. I'm going to multiply the first fraction by 7 to the numerator and denominator. I'm going to multiply the second fraction to the numerator and denominator by 11. So our first fraction will become 14 over 77 plus 44 over 77. When that happens, it will become 14 plus 44 over 77, which will equal to 58 over 77, which equals to s. I'm going to flip it where the variable is on the left side, so it will be s equal 58 over 77. And then let me check. Is there anything in common between 58 and 77? 58 cannot be divided by 7, nor it cannot be divided by 11. The reason I said those two numbers because the only possible factors for 77 is 11 or 7. So I leave it as B. So our final answer is S equals 58 over 77.